let's take your Vingli Adirondack chair from this to this. All right, folks, you have just purchased the Vingli Adirondack chair. I think that's how you say it, Vingli Adirondack chair. Mine came 2 in a pack. I've already assembled one. It's off screen right now. So I thought I'd create a video to help you out for this one here. All right, let's go over a few tools that we will need for putting this chair together. Okay, first thing, let's grab, if you have a 2x4, a straight edge, that's going to help us line up the back slats on the rear of the chair, the back of the chair. The set comes with this. This is provided for you, this little screwdriver and that little wrench. They're okay, but I highly recommend that you get your own screwdriver, Phillips-head screwdriver that you have around the house. And if you have a ratchet with a 13 millimeter, and then you also need a 10 millimeter as well. They will come in handy. Pair of scissors. Scissors we're just going to use to open up the package here. And then most importantly, if you have a power screwdriver or a drill, that's going to help save you loads of time. In this video, we will follow these directions step by step. They are pretty clear, but I honestly did not find any other videos about this chair on YouTube, so I thought this would probably be a good time to make one. All right, so let's go ahead and clear this off and get going. Not sure where they have this this ripcord here. This is the where all your hardware is here, the screws and so forth in that package there, and that's what this is tied to. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to take my scissors, gently cut it around the packaging tape. Okay. Take your hardware out and we'll open this up. Pull that out. Yep, and there is our another screw and wrench. We're going to set that aside. And here, very important to see that this is your hardware and they are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those numbers are referenced in the directions. Okay, we'll set that off to the side. We're going to open them from the back when it's time. All right, now as you unwrap, you will notice that all of these are labeled. Okay, this one is not labeled. The label must have fallen off. Okay, the rest of these are labeled. So this is BR for right, and if you don't have a label on it, yeah, the label fell off. That should say BL. So we're going to put those over here. We're going to do it in alphabetical order. So B's go here. All right. We have a lot of H, because H are the slats that you actually sit on. So we're going to have a lot of the H. Directions are here. Okay, we're going to just kind of unwrap as we go here. All right, so this is great. So this little dowel should look like this right there. But as you see, I just open it up and that dowel has broken off in shipping. Hopefully that won't be an issue. If you have a broken dowel for you, I'll show you how we'll manage that when we get there. Now, if you're doing this in the garage or something like this, or the basement hardcore, you could spread out the wrapping. But I'm going to get rid of the wrapping at this point because I'm doing this in my family room. So the directions tell us. Okay, step number 1, install the seat. So if you have your directions, we're on install the seat. We're going to get the EL and the ER, which is the bottom piece where the whole seat sits. All right, so here is our right one, and this is our left one, depending on how this comes up in the video, but just know that. And then let's look for G. Okay, so we have these in alphabetical order, so let's get our G. Okay, so just so you see, there's pilot holes drilled here that are going to go into here. There's no pilot hole here, but this wood is fairly soft and the screws go in nice and cleanly. So I did not find that an issue on the last one that I did. For this brace, we'll use the 2 number 5 screws that you see here in your packet. Okay, and on the drill, you know, if you want to set it to a number where it's not going to you know, you're not going to over tighten. You can do that. For a lot of these, I'm just doing my, you know, so it has a little bit of torque to get in there. Not the high speed, but the high torque one. Just find a setting that works for you and that you're comfortable with. All right, so we're going to do the first one, screwing in right through here. Okay. Try to keep it as steady and as snug as you can as you're doing it. Okay, and don't over tighten. We'll come back and tighten them up. And to turn this around because I'm right-handed, and do the same thing on this side. Okay, and that pulls it together quite nicely. The next part of step one is putting on letter J, which is the back part of the seat. So this piece is going to go all the way to the back here. Okay, and you see that there are some what look to me like literally pen or pencil lines here. Like somebody actually drew these in. I'm not sure if that's how they did it, but it kind of looks that way to me. Okay, line this up as best you can with those marks. And you want this curved part to face this back piece that you just put on. Okay, and again, we're going to use number 3 screws. That's lined up. Let's do the same thing over here. Okay, excuse me, kind of getting in the way. I'm just going to hold down and screw that in. All right, and then let's go ahead and put those other 2 in. For the next part of step 1, we'll install the rest of these panels here. They're just kind of like the slats, and they are all H. So we're going to find the H, which is the ones we have a lot of over here. And we're going to put them between the wide marks. See how the pen marks here, these wide pen marks? We're going to put that slat right there. And same thing on this side. At this point, I am going to change I'm going to move my drill down to, I'm going to put it on 5 and see if that works for me. I don't like digging into this wood too much. I'm going to go straight down. Again, excuse my... Maybe that's a little bit too strong. Put that down to 4. Make sure that lines up again. There we go. Perfect. All right. Next, H. Put that right in here, right between those wide markings that they have for us. From time to time, no matter how lined up you get the marks, it all depends on the pilot hole that they put in these. So it may pull your board a little bit this way or that way. This screw just pulled my board over a little bit as it went in. And these go all the way down, one more down on front here. This one that's cracked, I'm gonna put that across the front. Not because I think it looks it looks fine on this side, but on the front here, I don't think it's gonna get as much weight as it would. All right, so we line this up right here. That kind of sits in there nicely. That's our seated slats. Now, the next part of step 1 is to put on letter I. And that's kind of this decorative brace that'll go across the front bottom part of the seat. So I'm going to bring this up like this so we can see it that way. Okay, and they want 2 screws, 2 of the same number 3 screws in here. And for this one, I'm just trying to line it up. They don't give you any marks for this. I'm going to try to line up the bottom, across the bottom there. And then this decorative part is facing the ground, is facing down. Okay, that one just split the wood. Let's see if I can get this bottom piece in here. Okay, other side. All right, on this side, unfortunately, the wood just split right there when it went in. Now, the other chair that I did, everything went together perfectly. For this one, I'm going to drill pilot hole there. All right, so I got a 1/8 out. All right, let's see if that works. So that went in, I think that'll work. Now we're on to the next page of directions, and that means we get to the back. So let's put the seat off to the side. To install the back, this is where we will need the 2x4. So we're gonna bring that over here. And then we need, we're gonna need C1 and C7, and we'll need D1, D2, and D3, okay? So let's put D1 at the top. Okay, that's the one with the broken dowel. That might be a little issue for us. D2 is in the middle here. D3 we're going to put down here. And then we need C1, which is that side of your seat, the far side of the backrest. And then we need C7, okay, which goes on this side of your backrest. Now, this little tricky spot here that you need to get those dowels into the holes here. All right, now this one up here I'm missing, so we're going to have to just kind of eyeball that before we actually put in the screws. Okay, so let's do this side first, since we actually have all dowels on this side. All right, so now it's just a little bit of, you know, figuring out where it needs to go. If you have a better idea of how to get this part done, I'd love to hear about it. All right, so there is a pen mark up here that you can line that to, and I think that will help us. All right, so now down here, this is where we're going to try to make things nice and even on both sides. Now in the directions, it does tell you can measure from here to there and measure from there to there, but I was pretty successful in doing it like this the last time. And then go ahead and take your number 3 screws, and we're going to go ahead and start putting them in. And I'm going to start right down here on this corner. Okay, make sure you press down on the wood that you're actually putting in. I didn't have my hand in the right spot there. And one more at the top. Okay, and I'll start down here again, making sure everything's lined up the way I want it to be. Okay, that helped pretty well. All right, now just go ahead back and fill in the other screws. Okay, the next one we put on is C4. C4, and that one goes right in the center here. Okay, that has no angle at the top. All the other ones have an angle at the top. This one has no angle at the top. So we want the C4 here. Again, lining it up between those pen marks, top and bottom. And make sure it's up against your 2x4 down here, or whatever your straight edge. Go ahead and put in the number 3 screws. All right, and then the directions it tells us to continue with C2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay, and again, making sure that they all line up down at the bottom here. Try to make it as close as possible. Again, it's an Adirondack chair. We do want it to look good as best we can. In between the wide marks, down to your guide at the bottom, and you should be good. Okay, I'm going to put mine in the center first on this one. All right, let's do C3. It'll be right in here. Down to the guide. Check your marks, top and bottom. If you need to move, just give it a little pry. Okay, C5, down here. And C6. All right, and that is the back. That's the finished back. So I'm going to put this off to the side. We're not going to need it for a few more minutes, so I'll put that off to the side. And let's bring our seat back. Okay, so now we're up to step number 3, install the legs. For this one, let's have seat facing this direction. We're going to bring the left. We need BL and BR. So BL is here, BR be on that side. We will need to get out our number 1 bolts, washers, and nuts. Okay, and for this, you want your wingtip to be facing. You want your wingtip to be facing out because your arm's going to rest on that. Okay, and they want us to have. There's 3 washers on here. They want us to have 2 washers between the wood. So on the outside, we're going to put our bolt in like that, and then 2 washers. Okay, then we'll place it into the hole in the chair, and then your washer is going to go up and down on the or up and then screw on the inside. Make sure that blue rim is facing out. That's your locking, kind of like Loctite or something on it. All right, so I'm going to get that started underneath here. With that washer is on now. Start screwing it in. And then this is when we need our 13 millimeter socket, 13 millimeter. Or you could use a little wrench that they provide. Again, I suggest that you and again, we don't want to over tighten these, but we want to make sure they're not, you know, they're not flapping or super loose. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, that's your left. And let me show you what that looks like. So we have our, in there we have 2 washers, and then our 3rd washer's on the back side right there. Okay, now I'm going to turn it, and let's do the right side. Our bat wing is facing out. Go ahead and put bolt in. We'll put 2 washers on. Okay, that goes in here. And then washer. And their brand tag is facing out. You could probably take that off if you want to. It looks like it's screwed in. And then we're going to screw it on, making sure that that blue locking mark is on the outside. Okay, let's get our 10 millimeter again. So see how it's nice and flimsy like that? You don't want that much play. So we're going to tighten it up. And the reason why they want the 2 washers in between there is because that's going to help you fold the chair with a little bit more ease. It'll give a little bit more movement in there. Okay, so that's about good right there. Okay, and again, this is the side. This is the piece over here where the wood cracked on me. So I'm hoping that's not an issue. Okay, now we're up to step 4, install the arms. So I'm going to grab my right arm and the left arm. Okay, so left I'll put over here. Right, I'm going to put over here. Okay, so for both of these arms, we're going to use the same bolt, the number 1, and we're going to do the same thing. With this, make sure you put the screw in this way. Okay, so it will have a finished look when you're done. And on the other side, your screw is going to go in that way. Again, we want two, let's see if I get this into the picture a little bit more. Two washers go on here. Okay, then we're going to put the arm up here. And then we'll do washer and then nut. Okay. Then washer under there, and then your nut goes on there. And go ahead and give it a couple cranks with your ratchet and your screwdriver. Okay, sorry if it falls down, that's fine. Okay, again, you're using number 1 screw. Your screw goes through the wood here. Then you have 2 washers, 1, 2. Okay, then your arm goes on. Okay, you fuss with that to get it on. There we go. And then washer. And then nut. Okay, again, 10 millimeter. Yeah, that's good. Okay. We don't want to over tighten that, right? Because that has to move so that you can fold the chair. All right. Okay, go ahead and find your part F. There's going to be 1 on both sides. These are both the same on both ends, so it doesn't matter what side you attach back here. And you are going to look for screw number 2. So now we're looking for screw 2 in your hardware kit. And we're really going to do the same thing that we did with the other screws, except for these are smaller, so you're going to need your 10 millimeter ratchet for this one. So this goes through here. Okay. Then 2 washers through this hole right here on the bottom of the seat brace, or the bottom, seat bottom. And then washer and your nut. Okay, and we'll go ahead and give that some cranks. Get your screwdriver for that one. Okay, pretty good. Again, not too tight. All right, that moves. Good. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Screw, washers, okay. And then a washer, and your nut. Okay. Now we're on to step 5. Let's bring our seat back into the video, and we're going to tie things all together with the seat back. All right, so we can set this in here carefully. Okay. And all right, so those pieces, the F pieces that we just put on, are going to get screwed into here and over here. And for that, we need our number 4 screws here. Dig them out. Get the arm out of your way. And I like these because they have a metal receiver on the other end. Okay, so just kind of fish your way through there. And I'm going to grab my drill. And actually, while I'm over here, let's put in the one on this side as well. Same thing on this side. Okay, we don't need to tighten that too much. Let's get back to this one. Okay, I'll snug that out with my hand screwdriver. There we go. We're on to the next part of step number 5. and now we're going to connect. Now we're going to connect the back to the arms. Okay, so now we have to kind of lift things up together here. There we go. Just kind of have to coax everything up here. All right. So sometimes maybe having a second pair of hands is helpful. Okay, so what we're doing here is pulling the chair up, and this screw goes in right under. You'll see a hole under here, and then there's a receiver in this piece for the back screw. And just kind of working the chair around to get all these pieces to match up. It just takes a little bit of patience. Okay. There we go. All right, and then with those, go ahead and take your screwdriver. Make sure they're hand tightened. Again, that has to be able to move. Lift up on the bottom here and let those other pieces kind of go where they need to go. All right. And at this point, we kind of have a chair that is functional. Let me adjust my camera, and we'll get on to the very last piece here that we need to do. Okay, so this piece, or this chair, is pretty much functional at this point. The last thing we need to do is number 6, finish the look, and that's going to be a brace across the bottom part there of the chair, and I'll tilt it up for you so you can see what's going on there. So now we take letter K, and K goes across the front here as a brace. Now I see an identical issue with this chair as I did with the other one, and 99.9% certain I followed the directions. But you can see over here that this piece is actually not long enough, and I think it's due to the fact that we put in, they wanted us to put 2 washers in between the wood, so that made those legs out a little bit further. So no problem. What we need to do is just center this as best we can, so that there's the same amount of wood on this side to drill into, the same amount of wood to drill into on that side. Okay, so far so good. Okay, I'm going to leave it just like that. That's what it wants to do. Okay, good so far. Woo, I think we're done. Okay, again, if these things like that, just bring it up and around that way. All right. And last thing, and I'm not going to show this, but just go around, check your screws, hand tighten as many. There's a couple I see that aren't quite as deep as I'd like for them to be, so I'm going to go ahead and check some of them, like this one right here, see if I can get that a little bit deeper. I'll use a screwdriver on all these, the ones that I think need to be adjusted. And then the last thing is go ahead and pull off all those labels, which on this chair, some of them already fallen off, so that's not too bad of a job. All right, and then we'll take it outside and see how it works. And here they are, both side by side, outside on the patio. They look good. Let me show you how we fold these up. All right, here we have one folded all the way up, and it's not completely compact, but it's better than not folding up at all. I'm gonna put this against the wall. And then getting it to fold up, lifting up on the back just a little bit. And then you have to maneuver things just a little bit to get things to fold, okay? And then there you have it. And then to unfold, okay, pulling up on that back part a little bit helps. There you go. Okay, all right, and it is pretty comfortable. I'll say pretty comfortable. I think if you're going to leave it outside in the weather, you might want to, put some sort of finish on it, because I don't believe it's finished in any way at this point. It does smell good. It smells a bit cedar. I assume it's cedar of sorts. But there you have it. All right, let me know what you think in the comments. Have any questions, just let me know. See if I can clarify some things. I'm going to end this video because the leaf blower has started next door. All right, thanks for stopping in the Lenderman shop.
We'll see you on the next video. Take care.